Hey, this is Scott, and today we're going to be talking about these collapsible backdrops from Cape Backdrops. So I've really loved using these backdrops over the past few weeks. They're extremely convenient to have with you as you're going on location or going from one place to another. If you go to people's house to photograph them, for example, they fold down to a really compact size. They're completely flat and they're a little bit larger than like a large circular reflector when you fold it down, and they work pretty much in the same way when you fold them up, and they fold out to this pretty decent size where you could use this for pretty close to a full body portrait if you wanted to. But it's really easy to just throw in your car to bring along with you without taking up much space, and you only really need one stand to hold it in most situations. You could even lean it up against a wall if you have that kind of setup that works for you. But today I'm going to show you how I use it together with just a single stand. The wind is kind of taking it like a sail, so bear with me as I deal with that. But again, in most situations when you're not dealing with the wind, these are extremely easy to use. Very good quality, just like the other Cape backdrops are. So if you've worked with them before, you'll know what you're getting here in terms of material. But otherwise, let's just go ahead and take a look at how this gets set up. So these backgrounds are two-sided. So you can see here I have this kind of greenish color here, and if I can turn this around, I got like a bluish gold on the other side. So you're just gonna wanna decide which side you wanna work with. And then if I'm using one stand like I talked about here, I have this stand with just a cheap little plastic clip on the top that I got off Amazon, and that will just clip onto the edge of this and hold it just like it would with a regular circular reflector. And you're gonna obviously stand it up to the height that you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here. Excuse me for blocking myself from the view, but let's get the clip right on the top, right in the center, so that way it'll hang straight. And as you get that clipped in there, you can just raise it to the height that you need. So I'm gonna raise it up here and tighten that down, and that's all there is to it. So now, the wind is taking this again. I wouldn't recommend this on such a windy day, or at least you would wanna hold it down with maybe some sandbags at the bottom so it's not blowing all around. But this is basically all it is, and it'll just hold it up there with that one simple clip. So you don't have to bring a lot with you to get this to work. Excuse the wind here. But I will show you how to close it up with a video from my photo shoot last week. You'll want to grab it with both hands and hold it out in front of you the long way. Fold both sides up like a Pringle, and they'll fold in on each other as the far side starts to fold under by itself, letting you fold them all together into 3 layers. So you can see here, this is what the backdrop I was just talking about looks like when I'm out here outside with no special lighting or anything like that. But I'm going to show you some behind the scenes of a photo shoot that I had with these backdrops last week to show you a little bit more of what they can do for you in a studio type setting. But these are just super convenient backdrops to have with you in your kit. You can just throw them in your car, you can bring them with you anywhere very easily, and you don't really need anything extra to use them either, just maybe a small stand. And in some cases you don't even need that, but they're just really great to have on hand. The quality is, as you would expect, pretty great from Cape Backdrops. Incredible value for the money. If you've used any of their backdrops before, it's exactly the same in terms of quality, but they're just really convenient. So I highly recommend you get some of these. For these setups, I didn't do anything special. They're fairly similar to my setups for the Cade Canvas backdrops if you saw that, and if you didn't, I'll have a link for that down below. I'm shooting on the Canon EOS R with the 85mm f1.4 LIS and using Aperture 120D Mark I and II lights with their light dome and the Mini, both the Mark II versions, as well as some Flowlight blade lights on the backdrop and as kicker lights. Again, check out the video description for links to my reviews or more information about all of that stuff. In this first setup, I ended up just using the smaller light dome Mini as my key light with a larger light dome as a fill, but it was a pretty even lighting, and I had 36-inch blade light pointed at the backdrop with the shorter one as a kicker light on the left. To be honest, this was my least favorite shot of the day for a number of reasons, none of it because of the backdrop. However, I wanted to show you anyway. There's an abstract white and gray texture on the back of the wood design backdrop, but for the next shots I decided to use the colored backdrops that I showed you in the opening of this video. I went for a beauty type lighting setup with a larger light dome for a softer light and more spill onto the background, a reflector underneath, and a flow light kicker on both sides for some separation. I wanted to show the background a bit more in this shot, so I backed off a bit, and I ended up with this final shot. For the next setup, I just lowered the light dome a little bit since I had the model sit down, but otherwise it's the same setup with the backdrop flipped to the other side. This first shot was actually not the shot that I had originally planned to use, but for some reason I kind of liked it, so I kept it. But for the second shot, I had her go for a more somber look, which we did with a lot of the photos on this day actually, and I really liked the way that this came out. The thing I like most about this beauty lighting type setup is that generally the model can look either way or straightforward and it still looks pretty good. In all of these shots though, I really like the color and slight texture to the backdrops, and having the collapsible design made it really easy to switch backdrops in the middle of the shoot. Literally took about 30 seconds each time. If you want to see what they have in terms of designs and colors for these, you can check the link in the video description for katebackdrop.com. And if you want to see a video that I made on their hand-painted canvas backdrops, I'll have a link for that down there as well. But if you have any other questions or comments, be sure to leave that down below and I will do my best to get back to you. If you like this video or found it helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to see more in the future, and as always, thank you for watching.